Hey there, and welcome back to Hold and Modify, YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga program. Yes, and we are back with our lovely Amiga 1200 with its PiStorm32. This is part of an ongoing series, as you may have figured out by now. I got a new toy, and I'm playing with it and sharing my results with you.
This computer will rule the world.
In today's episode, we're going to cover a couple of topics. One is, a lot of you gave me some really great advice for trying to figure some things out. Don't use sysinfo and try a different program called sysspeed. So that's supposed to be maybe more accurate or give a better result, possibly might be able to handle speed checking the drives. I don't know. So we're going to go onto the internet using our Amiga. We're going to go right to AmiNet to look for those because we do have the network connection. I'm also going to use a program, or I'm going to look for a program called ViewTech. Apparently this ViewTech program will play animation files much better than some of the options I've shown, like Directory Opus and the View program that comes with Art Department Professional. So I am definitely welcome to find a much better anim player because I've always had problems with both of those. Lastly, I've got some cooling options, some fans. These are USB headered fans, and the Pi does get a little toasty, but there's not a lot of room down there in the 1200, as all of you may know. So I've got a couple of these options here that I got off of Evil Bay, and they're just they're basically the tiniest fans you can get. You know, the little, well, they're not the tiniest you can get, but they're the 10 millimeter tall, and I think they're by 40. But the problem is, even at 10 millimeters tall, you can't put this like on top of the CPU because we'll never be able to close the case in the 1200. So the idea is to use some of the open space that's in the 1200 to try and just get airflow happening. Now, you might roll your eyes a bit at that, but listen, any airflow is better than no airflow, okay? So I would still recommend you put the little tiny low profile cooling fin things, the heat sinks, on your Pi. And then in addition to that, moving air inside the case with one of these is going to do wonders, okay? I know it seems a little janky, but again, no airflow, no. Some airflow versus no airflow is good airflow. Good stuff. So I'm going to plug these in, and yeah, they're USB powered, so I don't have to worry about soldering. And the Pi, of course, has USB ports on it, so it'll get the power just from that. These are pretty slick. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to the World Wide Web. All right, so now we're on the World Wide Web, and what we're going to do is go to AmiNet. This is all very exciting, I'm sure. Let me see if I can just type in aminet.net. Should take us right there. Yep, nice and quick too. Don't you like that? I love AmiNet. Okay, so what we're going to look for is ViewTech. Sure enough, there we go. It's an animation player. Looks like it came out in 1994, maybe a Polish language version that came out in 96. So go ahead and grab that. That's going to go, oh, see, look, my sign is work downloads. I've reassigned that, of course, to DH1 downloads. So I'm going to make sure it's going there. It looks like it wasn't going there, so I'll have to fix that. That's something I'll have to fix. So that's going to go ahead and download. In fact, while we're here, let's fix that. Plus, you can see it along with me, right? We'll go here, and let's go ahead and find where our downloads go. Directories. Yeah, see, it says work downloads. That was my old onboard IDE that I showed in the last video, but now we're using the onboard Pi drives. We'll just reassign that here. Done. Don't have to worry about it. Go up here, save settings. Okay, so the next thing we need to look for is sysspeed. Sysspeed modules for various things. This already seems way too advanced for me. Like, it has specific modules for accelerators. Like, here's one for a 75 megahertz 60-60. All of you out there that know how to use this program, I know you're probably screaming at the monitor right now. I'm sorry over here, but there's all these different versions, like mod files, like Cybervision Mark III. I mean, I have one of those in the, I have a Mark II. No, it says Mark II in the 3000. Or is it going to be accurate at all? I will simply grab sysspeed version 2.6 now with PowerPC test, because there it is. We'll try that. There's a lot of modules though. Geez, look at all these things. But this is the one that just seems to be the generic program, so we'll grab that. Download that. There we go. We're all done. We'll go ahead and quit eyebrows for now. And we'll load up Directory Opus. And as always, I like to just unpack things to RAM when I'm first trying things out. Is that going to come in its own happy little folder? Sure is. And then we'll go to sysspeed. All right. Didn't seem to do anything. I don't think, none of these are installers. Yeah, these look like they just run. Oh, no, sysspeed has an installer. Okay, so what we'll do is for ViewTech, we'll just copy it over since it doesn't need to be installed. This is, again, why I tend to unpack to RAM, so I can figure out what's going on before I do something. So we'll go to sysspeed and we'll run the install English. Unable to open your tool installer. Well, that's really interesting because I should have installer on this computer for many other reasons. Let us see. Q, do you have installer on here? You do not have installer, Q. Q, bad Q. Well, let's hit cancel for now. Let's start with just my DH1 partition. All right, let's see if installer exists there somewhere. So let's go ahead and hit start. Oh, look at that. See, we've got an inversion installer right there. Roadshow seems to have it. DSS 8 Plus seems to have it. So we can go ahead and just hit directory opus, network, Roadshow, installer. Okay, let's go ahead and copy installer. I don't know what version installer that is, but it worked with Roadshow's install. So let's try this again. We'll go ahead and quit this awesome find of Workbench 3.2. I love it. Try this again. Here we go. Boom. Expert user. Oh boy. Well, you know I'm not. Some stuff, some things, some fonts, some locales. Where do I install this? I tend to keep system-y type things like this in the system folder. Now, this is one of those programs that doesn't tell you whether or not it's going to create a drawer. So I'm going to say, let's make a drawer. We will call it sysspeed. Now, if it does make one, then I always hate that because then you have double folders going on. So let's do this first. Let's go to DH1 and let's run ViewTech. Oh, I remember this program from back in the day. This was, yeah, back when I had my Amiga 3000 with a Retina card. This would actually play back 24-bit IFFs compiled as an animation that you could play. So you could actually watch on your Retina card, on your Amiga screen, at theoretically 30 frames a second, full 24-bit animation playback. It was pretty sweet. Yeah, and it's got so this is the tool that has the make anim 7 format, which is the cool compressor that allows you to do magic awesome things with the anim format so that you can make these types of animations. That's pretty cool. See, it's all coming back to me, folks. I knew there was an anim opcode higher than 5. It was the 7, and I know it's kind of buggy, but it allowed you to compile animations that could be played back with all of these devices. Now, I don't have any of these devices, so I'm hoping just regular old ViewTech will let me find that animation. Let's go ahead here, go to Lightwave, and see if this does any better at trying to play back a Ham 8 animation on this PiStorm. Okay, I've done that. It's loading it into RAM, and it's playing. Now, interestingly, it's picked a screen mode that's questionable. This is cropped in, like it's zoomed in on the screen. So it's actually kind of picked the wrong screen mode, so we're zoomed in. Also, yeah, as you can see, it just can't play it. So this is this is loaded into memory. It's just the PiStorm can't play it back at full speed when it should be able to. On a standard 50 megahertz 68030 in this 1200, it absolutely can play this back. So again, this is that issue that I talked about in the last video that they're working on, and eventually they will get fixed, hopefully, and it will get the full speed playback. So yeah, ViewTech, that's a fun player. I forgot all about it. I'm glad someone pointed it out. I'm glad to have it back. I definitely want to dive into this make anim 7 thing because yeah, this allowed for some fun stuff, for some higher compression or smarter compression. That was pretty slick. So let's go ahead now to our lovely program, sysspeed. Let's go ahead and run that. Oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. Okay, this is already way too complicated for me. It knows where programs like Add Pro are. That's interesting. High-res lace, window prefs. I don't know. Obviously, this is a program for people that are smart. Well, I don't have any of this stuff, so I'm turning it all off except for Add Pro. There's Add Pro, make module, quick change. Is there just like a global, give me how fast my computer is? I don't know. There's documentation, of course, and you should read it, and then, you'd be able to figure this stuff out. So there's the system info. 249 megahertz 68040. 249 megahertz 68040 FPU. I mean, yeah, here's some tests like we could do. Okay, here, the drive test, right? Let's click drive. Please insert the volume CPU at any drive. Oh, can I just assign that to like DH1? Yes, you can. And what did it do? It did some stuff. I saw it do stuff. You saw it do stuff, right? I mean, here it says drive DH0, actually. Why I was asking for insert CPU. What the heck was that all about? Let's go back to low. Let's do CPU, FPU. Okay, there we go. MIPS 2595, MFLOPS 4357. That makes a little more sense. Memory. Lots of things happening. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We got to read chip B. Oh, no, it's going still. I thought maybe it crashed. No, my mouse is not moving. I'm trying to move my mouse pointer and it's not moving. So it's definitely doing something chunkulacious here, folks. This is very exciting watching these numbers fill in like this, isn't it? Just keep watching them fill in. Maybe I'll fast forward through this. All right, so it's done here. And as you can see, it's filled out a lot of these lovely things. And chip to chip, these numbers are low, 0.4, 0.8. I wonder if that's telling. Chip to chip memory, 1.56. That seems kind of familiar, like what's Info was saying. Maybe you can go online. Maybe that's what all those modules I was seeing on AmiNet were. It wasn't the fact that it's not just supporting that hardware, but it was giving you profiles. Oh, it's so fascinating, all of this. So what if you do graphic? Oh my gosh. Well, I just did graphics. I guess this is important. You know what? I know how this is going to work. For all you folks out there that have this program, you know how to run it, you can at least look at my numbers or look at my current output and go, holy cow, that's fast, or oh my God, that's slow. So yeah. So as you're watching this, take that into account. You can compare it to your own system, run the video back, look how fast it is or slow it is compared to yours, in addition to the numbers that we're going to post here. So that part's useful in this video. This isn't a complete waste of your time. Okay. Oh, now we're doing 256 colors. That's right, because AJ Amiga. And actually, this is what we really want to test, is the AGA aspects, because that's the part that's really slow. You'll have to tell me if it's slow or not, because I don't know if this is... I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to. I mean, I do have something to compare it to. I could fire up the 4000 sitting next to us that has a real 68060 in it and see how it runs this test. All right, look at all these things that have been filled out here. This is very exciting. Look at this stuff. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to slowly click through this. So if you're watching the video and you want to pause and you want to see what these numbers are and you compare it to what you've got, I mean, if you're that bored, I guess you can do that. But I mean, I think a more obvious would be just looking at the video output you just saw compared to your own test. And you might be like, oh yeah, that's fast. Or, oh no, that's slow. All right, so a couple of definite bugs with this SysSpeed, obviously me not knowing how to use it. 1.3 gigs of fast memory. I still think that's hilarious. It doesn't know what operating system we have, of course, because this program was built before that, and I guess it doesn't know to look for just a number value. We're going to quit SysSpeed, and it did definitely kind of blow things up, didn't it? Ah, look at that. All right, let's try the redraw all. No. Update all? No. Sometimes backdrop on and off. Nope, that doesn't do it either. Okay, let's reboot. But hey, that's all part of this process. I wanted to show you, this is the stuff I want to show. This is the kind of stuff I want to show you, because it doesn't always go as you think, right? And so I want to make sure you understand using this retro Amiga stuff. This is how it can go. It's not always perfect. We want it to be perfect. It's more fun when it's perfect, but yeah. So by the way, this screen you're seeing, you see, what is this? Why does this Workbench boot so quick, by the way, off the native card? But what is this? That screen you just saw is the hack I have to do to get my Innovision Mark III flicker fixture to work. In North American 1200s, there's a timing issue, maybe, they think, where it doesn't initialize on boot up. So one of the things you can do to initialize it is you just run the flash tool that they provide to update its firmware. just running it just kind of wakes the card up. That's why you see that screen at the start of the Amiga there. I think I've shown all I wanted to show software-wise. We did try ViewTech. That's pretty slick. Unfortunately, it did confirm that the playback speed is still slow. And that SysSpeed gave us some numbers and some cool screen stuff. But let's go ahead and try out these USB fans so we can keep this Pi cool. So I'll be right back. All right, so now we're inside the 1200, and here you can see the Pi and my amazing electrical tape GPIO pin protection short out coverage. So here's our cooler, and I can confirm, by the way, this Pi is warm. It's very warm. So as you can see, we've got some USB on the side here, so we'll go ahead and plug that in first. See if we can get it right the first time. All right. Look at that. Got a USB plugged in, and looking at the direction of the fan blades, yeah, it's going to blow air this way. So what I could just literally do for now is just kind of find a spot where you could like lay the fan in just to get air to blow, right? The fan's not going to blow anything up or short anything out. It's plastic. So I know this is super ghetto, folks. This is super rigged here. But my point was just trying to get some kind of airflow happening over this Pi. We've got all kinds of Captain tape you can use, all kinds of fun things you could use. All right, so look at that. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that super cool? Let's go ahead and fire this up and just see if there's any kind of appreciable airflow coming from this fan. Well, I can definitely confirm now that we're powered up, I am feeling a nice cooling breeze. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, yeah, you can hear that too, maybe. I mean, you could just lay it down like that. You could stop it by touching it. Ooh, let's try and mount it into the tab. What about here? What if we just set it like that? That's not going to work. I know I'm doing this while it's on and the fan's doing its fan thing. We know it can't go here because, see, the problem is it's just going to be too tall. There's no way to... I mean, you could try and leave it in the basement here. The thing is, the Pi is down here, and that's where it gets warm, is down below there. So again, this just gets back to, like, instead of being obsessed with trying to directly cool the Pi, just get airflow circulating inside this case. For now, I'm just going to try and get this in here in a way that doesn't seem to cause a disaster. Maybe this is a terrible idea. This is never going to work. I just wanted airflow. That's all I cared about, was getting some kind of airflow to happen in the case.
Give these people air.
Oh, man. I can see the comments now. I should just turn this video off before I go any further. I mean, if anyone's still watching, I apologize for the chaos that's ensuing. What if I laid it down? Like suck. Ooh, that gets loud. It's getting loud because it's... Ah! What it's doing now is sucking air from the bottom of the 1200 case. Now it's blowing onto the Pi, which might be more preferable. Again, just to move some air. That's all we care about. So far, it's not too upset. Like if I had some tape, I could tape it maybe right here. Let's go ahead and gingerly get our old keyboard back on here. I never claim to be an expert and know what I'm doing. So, you know, it's on you if you're really upset at me right now. All right. So the fan is still spinning. There you go. We've got a cooling fan in there that is now blowing air actually on the Pi, and in a way that it's angled so that it's blowing air underneath the Pi and slightly across the top, but mostly underneath it, which is good because that's where all the chips are. That's what's getting hot. So now that's going to blow some air. Now this Amiga is loud-ish. You probably can't hear it. Let me grab my clip mic and make a bunch of noises doing it. So I don't know if you can hear that or not, but yeah, it makes noise. The other weird thing is I can feel a breeze sort of coming out of, yeah, which is good, right? I can feel airflow coming out of this case. So that means cooling. Yay for cooling. Okay, well, there you go. That was our awesome little USB 40mm by 10mm fan option. Just tossed in there so professionally. Isn't that great? While it was on. Proving that you can do it, but you shouldn't. Thanks for watching. I guess I'm done with this video.